it. That one's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's huge.
It's gonna be the most delicious sweet potato I've ever had. She's doing a good job. You need a bowl. I'll go get you one.
She's getting all the colors.
Oh no! One more. Down there. Mm-hmm.
Here.
Now there's that one. Awesome. Thank you, you guys.
There were a few cucumber melons down on the ground.
Nice. Hey there. This is another video where I show what we do with the harvest once we bring it inside. This is towards the end of October, and we're still getting tomatoes from our garden. I am going to roast a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes and smaller tomatoes up with feta and some seasoning, olive oil, and garlic in the oven on a cookie sheet. And I'll be making that to go with some spaghetti. Reserve pasta off to the side with just butter and olive oil and some pasta water, and I mix that up, and usually the kids prefer that rather than having whatever sauce that we have. They'll try the sauces that I make, but for the most part they still are in that stage where they prefer plain pasta with butter and olive oil. This is like one of our most favorite things to eat in the summertime, using the cherry tomatoes. It's so good with the fresh Parmesan on top. This is the pasta sauce that you saw me make in the other video. I'm gonna check the seals and remove the bands, write what's in the jars, and those will get put away in our pantry. This is a sugar baby watermelon that we harvested. This is what the inside of that looked like. I'm just going to be cutting it up into small chunks so that the kids can eat it out of the refrigerator. Here's where I've been storing our butternut squash. I have a basket right on our countertop. And I also have the garlic stored in one of the mesh fabric produce bags. I'm still rotating the tomatoes in a cardboard tray. That is my favorite way to ripen the tomatoes, but keeping them in the basket also works. About a day or so later, I had to put the sweet potatoes away. I ended up using that same cardboard tray to try and make an even layer of sweet potatoes. And I also used a brown paper bag, a smaller cardboard tray for the regular potatoes, and I stored them all on the top of my refrigerator for now. I have all of these slicing tomatoes and Romas and paste tomatoes. I'm just going to blanch them up. I'm going to be turning this into a pasta sauce and separating out some of it to serve with dinner tonight, and then the rest of it is going to go into our refrigerator to be canned up the next day. pasta sauce, I'm adding a couple cans of tomato paste to thicken it up. And then like a palmful of oregano, some garlic powder, black pepper, salt. I already put in frozen garlic cloves that I pureed up with the sauce when I used the immersion blender. And then to that, I am adding some chopped up onions, letting that cook down for a little bit. And then at the very end, I add in the bell peppers. Once that has cooked down for a little while, I am going to reserve some of the sauce off to the side to have with dinner tonight, and I'm adding meatballs to it. And the rest, after it cools off, is going to go in these half-gallon jars to get stored in the refrigerator until I'm able to can them up. One of the Sundays I had roasted a turkey for dinner, and I ended up turning everything that was left over from that into a really nice turkey stock in our roaster with carrots from our garden, celery, onions, and then I added just enough water to cover everything. And we let that cook down for about a day. Then I strained everything out, let it cool for a little while before I added them to these half-gallon jars to get stored in our refrigerator until I was ready to pressure can them. Here I am washing up eggs that we're getting from our chickens. Our pullets are now laying, so we're getting about 3 or 4 eggs a day from them. I have been washing them up a little bit more often. I like to store them in these plastic containers and using a dry erase marker write the date that I get them into the refrigerator so I can keep track of it. I am going to be making up a jalapeno salsa because we have so many jalapenos, and it's a very basic recipe. I get it from one of the ball books. I really like it. It is a spicy salsa, but it's delicious. So I was glad that I had all the ingredients to do that. It's just tomatoes, jalapenos, cilantro, oregano, salt, cumin, apple cider vinegar, and that will cook down for a while. In the other pot, I'm putting the pasta sauce that I made the other day to heat that back up, because while I'm canning the salsa, I will also be canning up the pasta sauce I made the other night. In my kitchen cart, I have all of my canning supplies and my jars and stuff just to get them off of the counter so they're ready to go when I need them. Save some room in our kitchen because our kitchen is so small, and I'm also washing up some lids. While the pasta sauce is in the canner, I'm going to finish up the salsa and get that canned up also. And the pasta sauce processes in the quart-sized jars for 40 minutes. Once those are done, I get the salsa in and kind of repeat the process. After about a day of them sitting on the counter, I then remove the bands, check the seals, make sure that everything is on there good, and then I write the contents of the jar on the lid and the month and year that I canned it before putting it in the pantry. On this day, I'm going ahead and getting the turkey stock that I made the other day back on the stove to get reheated. I'm going to be pressure canning it. I've canned these recipes on here before. If you're interested in seeing specifically how I do it, I will have them linked down in the description of the video. Now that the stock is looking pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and add them to the jars. Once I see the steam leaving the vent pipe, I set a timer for 10 minutes. And once that goes off, I then put the pressure regulator on the vent pipe and wait for the pressure gauge to get up to 11 pounds of pressure. Once that gets up to 11 pounds, that will sit there for 20 minutes. After that's done, I turn the burner off, move the canner carefully off of the burner and onto a different spot that's cooler, and wait for everything to slowly come back down, including the safety button in the back. Once the lid is off, I wait for 5 minutes before moving them to the countertop on a towel, where they will sit for a day or so until I check the bands and the seals, write what's inside the jars, and then they'll go in our pantry. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.